Good morning, everybody. It's chilly and rainy out here today, and we've got a gale warning that's scheduled to show up at like 3 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time. We're expecting up to 40 knot winds. Isn't that special? Hey, what I wanted to do is to let you know that I've got some amazing captures this morning from with the P1000. Yeah, some of it's upside down. I wanted to show the impossibility of the globe. There's more than missing curvature. There's the reality that nobody lives on a globe. It's not possible. So reality actually exposes the global lie. And it may sound a bit condescending, but many of us that are, I should say, it is a little bit condescending. A lot of the people that we interact with are very arrogant, and they're proud, and they're talking about flat earthers as though we're stupid. Well, I've got something to show you. I'll show you right now. I'm going to have to lose the umbrella for a moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this upside down so you can look at it and see how impossible it actually is. So here we go. You see, that's not possible. Water seeks its level and covers the face of the earth. Let me zoom in a little bit on that. It's actually being pumped from that ship right over there. That's what water does. Seeks its level, covers the face of the earth. No upside down bulldozers. Whoa. Yeah, it's not so windy out here now, but it will be a little bit later. Got to work out some of the details with my broadcast. I got a new microphone. Hopefully it worked good. So what we actually have is buoyancy, the differences in density and mass. That's how it actually works. Heavier than falls, lighter than floats. If you get somebody giving you a hard time, like I do sometimes, I'll just simply ask, do you know how much a gallon of water weighs? I like to pause. I let them struggle with it for a little while. Typically, they'll start spitting out numbers. Well, it depends how much what the temperature is. The temperature differentials drive the whole hydrologic cycle. Right now, it's raining out here. You can't really see it much. It's not showing up much on the sand. Can't see it out there. I can tell you it's raining. It's making me wet. But what happens is we've got evaporation, condensation, and precipitation all over the face of the earth. So as helpful as it can be to explore YouTube videos to learn the truth of the world that we live in, getting out and enjoying it is very valuable. I'm convinced it's only by God's grace that anybody can love and believe the truth, let alone find it. How will you know it when it's right in front of you? Yeah, how about that? How about that? So what I'm going to do, as per usual, is make my contact information available. That's an anytime number if you want to give me a call. For any reason, that'll be just fine. There, we're now zoomed all the way back out. They move approximately 1,500 dump truck loads full per hour. Actually, in about 45 minutes through this device right there, that submarine line. So what I'm going to do is flip this back around. It's a little bit easier to watch. And I'm going to grab my umbrella and let you go ahead and see what it looks like. I'll have a little bit more of a windbreak as well. I would think that they probably will discontinue the process when the heavy wind hits. It'll be pretty tough. They're expecting 8 to 12 foot seas. The mixture of sand and water is about 40% sand and aggregate, seashells, shark teeth, and whatnot, and then the 60% is water. So that's a huge volume of material being pumped up. Beaches are pretty empty right now, except for the working crews. There'll be a few joggers out still. I see a little group of seagulls down there. They actually really like this process here because it brings up a lot of stuff from the bottom of the ocean that normally you wouldn't see out on the beach. They're probably, it looks to be about 5 miles out or so, where they're taking the material from the bottom of the ocean, and then ships take turns pumping it up here. And there's several submarine lines running along the coast right now, and they position themselves differently, and this is a 24/7 process. So when I've watched some of the upside down video, I found it really tough to look at. It's really tough to see because it's our mind isn't it's weird. Just to be quite frank, it's weird to look at, and yet one of the reasons why I went to such an extent to make a video like that, and you can see it after I get home and post it. It's the logical conclusion of if we actually did live on a globe, spinning, wobbling, and gyrating, there would be places upside down in relationship to other places. I poured concrete before. Maybe some of you have. To have a level slab is important. And then the ground is excavated in a pattern away. The high spot in a lot will be where the building is, and then the parking lot is graded away from that, so you don't have a swimming pool in your building. That being said, to make a level slab on a spinning, wobbling, imaginary, gyrating oblate spheroid, well, when would it ever be level? Well, we've got up and down and a stationary Earth. That's the reality. It's not that there's just not any curvature. It's worse. It's more than that. We don't have any movement of the Earth that's ever been proven. That's the reality of that. There's no movement that can be felt or found, no curvature that can be seen or found. So the overwhelming evidence is that the Earth is not moving, we don't live on a sphere, and the sun, moon, and stars move above the face of the Earth. That's the reality. It's important because the truth matters. A lot of people are basing their eternity on a godless cosmic Big Bang. Because if there is no God, do whatever you want, right? Well, there is a God. And I am unapologetically biblical. That's why I've got so much content on my profile showing the beauty and majesty of creation merged with an audio Bible. Okay, so in the view, we'll see the, trying to zoom in, the reflection of the bulldozer. There we can see it. It's flat and undisturbed, and birds are running away. And then that water will get calm and steady right out. Undisturbed water is flat and level. That's the reality. Yeah, the quickest way for me to zoom out is to flip the camera view. Here's a little group of seagulls there. Aren't they adorable? Let me show you. They found a little calm spot right there, relatively speaking. So if it seems like the camera is shaking, it is. I can feel the ground moving under my feet. It's vibrating. They've got seismic monitoring devices all around here to measure that. That's Donald. He's been doing this for a long time. He's one of the experts out here. They're all experts, actually. These guys really know what they're doing. Those are diesel electric cats. They cost over $600,000 each. Very innovative technology, very powerful transmission systems in them. It's much like a locomotive. Locomotive is a diesel electric. This is reality. So what you're looking at is reality. This is how it actually works out. The program director out here I talked to it last year, David, said that his biggest project, I asked him, was 86 miles in Dubai. an 86 square mile project. It's a lot of sand. And so in the digital, how would I say, capture and transmission, there's a bit of a loss of quality. The quality with the P900 is spectacular. Actually the P1000 is what I used. I put it up on the big screen TV in my bedroom, and it was awesome to see what that looks like. And there it's obvious, no curve on the horizon. That is the Myrtle Beach skyline over here. The Prince Resort, where I do a lot of broadcasts, is right down there. Looks to be about 5 miles away or so. So, from what I understand, water does not compress. So, a ship like that, a steel ship filled with sand and water, is able to float. It's buoyancy, spelled B-U-O-Y-A-N-C-Y. When somebody starts talking about gravity, I might just hashtag buoyancy. Somebody calls me stupid, I know because I believe we don't live on a globe. I know they're deceived. And I'll wade through humanity to try and find people looking for the truth. I find them. Actually, part of the way that works is they find the truth, and sometimes they'll find me. If they find it on my channel, great. If they just find it in their Bible and they never meet me or anybody like me, that's fine with me. I just am doing what I believe God created me to do, showing the reality to humanity. And it gets to be a bit challenging because people get really upset about saying things like, yeah, we didn't go to the moon, we don't live on a globe, and we still got monkeys. Yeah, we didn't evolve from monkeys either. That was presented to me as fact. How about you? So as water reflects a man's face, God's word reflects the man. When I looked in the mirror, okay, I'll flip it around. When I looked in the mirror and I saw an active drug addict struggling with life, I thought, hey, I thought I was supposed to be free. Yeah, what's up with that? I was a slave to sin. and addiction, largely because all I had was my flesh. Oh wow, the crab is out there. I'll show you. Let's see if I can zoom in on him. Yeah, all I had was my human nature, my flesh. I wasn't born of the Spirit yet. And then when I was, wow, what a difference. What a change. And I found it very disturbing, quite frankly. Reason being, it showed to me that it's possible for somebody to have a lot of apparently biblical activity, like working at a full-time ministry, which I did, volunteer at the church, chopped a lot of firewood, ground our own wheat, homeschooled our sons. I wasn't born again yet. How about that? So if you're looking at, I should say when I notice that there are evangelists that are living decadent lifestyles, having unbiblical theology, how does that work? Well, I believe it works really well in a kind of a negative way. Satan will use who and what he can, and God uses it all. For the insincere investigators, they're going to find the lie that they want to believe. That's how that works, best I can tell. Look at how quick the water leaves the sand when they push it. Take note of that. So it's actually real science is what it is. Actual repeatable observations. This is my science lab. Oh, I'm a scientist now. Jonas, oh, you're a film producer and a scientist. Yeah, works for me. So what I'll do is I'll show you the reality of the world that we live in. Kind of like the opposite of the Truman Show. Truman was on a movie set and didn't know it. I'm not saying we live in a simulation or we're on a movie set. I'm saying people are living in a false reality. Their perception of reality is not true. So when God flooded this world, in the account, at least the account in Scripture, in Genesis, the water covered the face of the earth to over the tops of all the mountains. It was more than rain. The floodgates of heaven opened up and the fountains of the deep. Just to consider floodgates and fountains right in front of you. You think that would freak people out? I'm sure it did. I couldn't stand up in that. Nobody could. So the mountains we have now are 5.5 miles tall, according to the official story, Mount Everest. However, we don't know what's in the North Pole exactly. Is there a mountain taller? Could be. I don't know. You can't put a bunch of extra water on a ball. Can't put any. It just falls right off. Water goes up and comes down. That's what it does. Covers the face of the earth, fills the container it's in. I'm showing that all to you right now. So where I live, about 7 miles away, apparently I'm about 8 feet above sea level. I'm standing taller than that right now. I'm about 20 feet above the ocean right out there. So they'll spend millions of dollars to pump sand up here to protect the infrastructure, the houses. I'll show you where I am. Beautiful place. There's Judy up there. Hi, Judy. Wonderful lady, moved from Charlotte. So in the context of what I do, I meet a lot of people, and then apparently it seems to be, I want it to be in the proper orientation here. Yeah, it's all about the proper orientation, right? So here we are. Let's see where I can put myself. Uh-oh, my light's on. That'll mean I don't have much battery if I keep that up. All right, so it'll be interesting to see the sound quality, how that eventually works out. I hope it's good. What ends up happening because of this is that, I had a question, is it a good thing that they're doing this? And I would say, I believe so. One of my friends asked that question. And what it'll do is it'll provide a bit of a barrier so that these structures don't get washed away. God set the boundaries of the oceans, the water. And this is probably the best view I've ever had for this right here. Even though it's raining, it's spectacular to illustrate what I want to show you. I mean, the property I'm on is millions of dollars, easily. And there are a few walkouts down there, but see, even the places that have like the Wyndham or the Mar Vista that's down there, I would be pretty far away from the beach. What's nice about here is this walkout goes right there. That's the line I'm not supposed to cross, and I won't. Don't need to. I don't even want to. It's not like a wet paint sign for me, like, oh, I wish I could go down there. No, I'm fine. This is a better view. And this is a routine that these gentlemen do very well. So the equipment had a designer, so did the operator. We're not a godless cosmic Big Bang. That should be obvious to anybody that wants to know the truth. We're not an accident, a celestial sneeze, a cosmic cough. No. They lied to me. They said that we evolved from monkeys. Come on. I bought it. I bought the Santa Claus lie too. He was a replacement for God. Apparently, Santa was supposed to know whether I was naughty or nice, right? That's part of the story. You better be good, Bobby, if you want to get your Red Ryder BB gun. I think that was one of my last Christmases that I believed the Santa lie. I was about 7 years old or so. Some people believed it for a lot longer, from what I've been told. Somewhere around 97 or 8% of the people I've asked believed that Santa would actually take flying reindeer and deliver presents, and knew whether they were good or naughty or nice. Yeah. The elaborate level of deception was mind-blowing to me. Friends and family, news presenters, weather channels or weather representatives, they were all in on it. Was it just an innocent little thing? I don't believe so. I believe that the truth just is, and then there's everything else. So I'm not going to participate in promoting any kind of deception. I had somebody call me a shill because they said that the earth is convex. No, concave. Concave. I said, what kind of concavity do you think there is? He said, well, it's 8 inches per mile squared opposite of the globe. Huh? And he called me a shill and a flat earth troll and a... Oh, well, I had to mute him. That's a... There's no curvature on the horizon in either direction. In any direction. I'm in South Carolina for a reason. I've surfed some big waves in California. We don't have them here normally. Later today there will be some big waves. Maybe some surfers out there. I won't be out there. I've got a wetsuit. Or actually it's a dry suit. I could go out there. The water isn't that cold right now. It's maybe in the 50s. I've been out there when it's in the 40s. That's pretty cold. So the clues, like on this operation, are all around. I can tell the ship is emptying out. The water flow is lessening. Just the routine that they do, and they'll just do this over and over and over again. The bulldozer is putting up a walkway so people can walk across. All the public accesses will have a way for people to walk over this pipeline. It's a wonderful thing. When they finish up here, they'll blow out the line so that the sand doesn't clog it up. Imagine that. How would they unclog that line? Well, the idea here is to not let it get clogged. That's how they do that. Okay, here comes the bulldozer. I'm going to zoom in so you can see the lights on the water. The flat water, right? It's a sea level liquid mirror. Not the surfing capital of the world, to be sure. Caterpillar wanted my dad to work for him as a representative. My dad was brilliant. He knew steel really well. He was a outside steel salesman, and he taught me a lot. He said, Bobby, if you need to be somewhere at a certain time, let them know before you get there that you're running late. That was back when you had to pull over and use a payphone or something like that. Kind of interesting. But we actually, my dad and I built, as far as I know, the first mulching mower back in the 70s, and he took that concept to Aaron's, one of his commercial accounts, and they took it to market. I've worked on prototype equipment. I've imagined things like inventions that came to market. What does that matter? Well, it matters in that I have an opportunity and a gift to see things in a kind of an innovative way. I remember in the early 80s I had the idea of having flow-through coffee bags with gourmet coffee in them. Well, 14 years before Folgers patented the process. And I thought, well, that would have been nice to be a millionaire. Maybe not. I'm happy doing what I'm doing, leveraging worldwide instantaneous communications to share God's word to the ends of the earth around the clock. How about that? That's what I get to do right now, so I'm not thinking, oh, it would have been so nice to have so much more. I'd probably be dead. So I was mostly dead, spiritually dead, and I didn't know it. And a lot of humanity doesn't even purport to be a Bible believer, and they may never be. I don't know. I that's not my call. I just encourage people to hear God's word and see what happens. Seek the truth with all your heart. Well, you can. Well, you can still fog a mirror. Register a pulse. I had to plant one of our kitties yesterday, Annabelle. She was about 22 years old. I got a little choked up. I mean, she was part of our family for a long time, 22 years. Joni and I have been married a little more than 30, coming up on 31. And yesterday morning when I left, I thought, I don't think she's going to be alive when I got home, and she wasn't. So the cat that we had for all those years is now in the backyard, underground. She went underground. Oh well. I cried a little bit, but it wasn't just that Annabelle was gone. It's just kind of sad to look at life and realize how challenging it can be. Because I'm looking at family members that believe I'm deceived about the flat earth. And I'm looking at thinking, are you serious? You believe all this stuff can stick to a spinning ball upside down in relationship to other stuff? There's up and down. What I hear from Joni is, but gravity. God will show you how gravity worked if you make it to heaven. Oh well, I'll be there. I want you to be there too. That's the point of it. So one of the questions that I ask people, how deceived can you be? And on the issue of being born again, I thought I was until I actually was. So if there's an active addiction or willful disobedience in any way, that is a significant evidence that maybe the fruit of the Spirit is absent because the power of the Spirit himself is not present. A lot of people get upset with me for saying that. The truth just is. And then there's everything else. The truth is the truth, no matter how few people believe it. And a lie is still a lie, even when the majority of the world is deceived. Do you really believe that any of what you're looking at could happen upside down? I'm gonna flip it over and show you. Got to stand on my umbrella or it's going to blow out there and make operators mad. I don't want to make any operators mad. Okay. That is not possible upside down. The upside down perspective exists only in the imagination, leveraging artificial intelligence, green screen, computer generated graphics, and a whole bunch of deceived people to perpetuate the deception. And if you step out of line, they're going to make fun of you. How about that? If you don't go along with the lie, they're going to make fun of you, right? It's happening. And I would say to that, bring it on. I meet people that have found me before they saw me on videos before we ever met face to face. And they believe that we're not on a globe because of it. And they're examining their soul in the state of their soul because of it. I've met people that say they've become born again because of meeting me. Imagine that. I believe that's how it's supposed to work out. We're supposed to share this message to the ends of the earth around the clock, and now we can, leveraging digital communications and social media. When they're about ready to turn the pump on, or when they do, they say, water on the hill. Their whole operation relies on the reality of the world I'm telling you about. We don't have toilet water flying out on people in Australia because of gravity. Well, hello, it's just water seeking its level. Before I said those words on HBO, I had recorded many hours of the beach and the waves and the wind and the water. And also, beach renourishment last year was right before the Flat Earth International Conference in North Carolina. Do you think that water is going to wash away that bulldozer? Not this amount of water. However, recently I posted some CGI, like it was the day after tomorrow or something like that, where the tsunami came in on the coast and decimated the shorelines of the world. Like New York. New York City! Yeah, how about that? Big water can knock buildings down like that, no problem. As weird as upside down is, let's show you a little sideways. That's also really weird. That wouldn't work. It doesn't have to. Well, thank you so much for your public and private support and encouragement. I'm heading on home to post some videos I hope you enjoy. Thanks so much.